Welcome back. The introduction of connected appliances and digital assistants like Amazon's Echo have stolen the hearts of millions of Americans by changing the way people carry out everyday tasks by using the power of the internet. But as homes become more connected and our gadgets become more intelligent, any person's privacy might become a concern. Jim, are you willing to give up your privacy in exchange for a little extra convenience?
No, absolutely not. I like the Echo. I think it's a great thing. I like the TVs that have the cameras and the microphones built into them so that you can talk to them. But in my house, if those things are not being used, they are turned off, powered off without electricity, so that they cannot be used. I am one of these people, frankly, and don't think me crazy for this, but you know the laptop with the little camera that points at the top, I put a little piece of tape over it. If I want to use my camera, I'll use my camera. You know, this is probably the device that really probably stays on more than it should. I'm trying to figure out a way to divest myself from this more. I haven't figured that out yet. No, I'm not willing to give up the privacy. And I think the privacy, I think now, you know, before you had the laptop in one room and you had the cell phone, you know, now with the Echoes, they can, whoever they are, could potentially monitor you in every room.
Well, and look, we are 20 some odd years into what is probably the information revolution. Much like the Industrial Revolution, our world has changed since the mid-90s, almost 180 degrees.
As fast over the period of time as it's going now. Compare the two as you go.
Right. So my point being, we have yet to adapt our habits or our mentality to account for the fact. The reality is you could be walking down the street. Technology is you could be having a conversation. Your cell phone, not only is it turned off, it's sitting in your car or in your office, and somebody could be eavesdropping. In order to protect, and I think the right to privacy is very important. I guess the kind of mental note I would ask you is, let's suppose that 5 years down the road, we develop the technology not only to be able to read, but also interpret your thoughts. So, are your own thoughts, your private thoughts, part of your right to privacy, right? So technology is only going to advance, and the capacity of technology is only going to advance. We need to develop, from a personal standpoint, the protections that we ourselves put in place. So for instance, personally, if I want to have a conversation truly privately with somebody, I'm going to go for a walk in the mountains, someplace where it's windy, or maybe there's a waterfall or something, and not have my phone in my pocket. Because, you know, and the funny thing is, for the longest time, we have all these drone attacks, and we take all these terrorists out in various areas. One of the ways that we do it is the CIA is hacking into their phones, whether they're turned on or turned off, and monitoring their location, but also being able to turn on the microphone, being able to turn on the GPS, and in other ways track what people are doing. So a lot of these guys, when they're running around the desert, even in Afghanistan or Yemen or wherever they are, they take the battery, literally the battery out of their cell phone. And even then, that may or may not be a true protection. So,
what do you think, Janice?
I read a book years ago, and I'm trying to remember the
1984?
title. Yeah.
Good old George Orwell.
Trying to remember the title of the book, but it was something about the things that kill us. And it was this whole discussion of technology and gadgets and kind of questioning, are all of these technological advances really beneficial? Because if you look at, one example was just being able to start your car. Well, you have your keyless entry now, and now the cars, you don't even need a hard key anymore. You just push the button to start it as long as you have the key fob with you, and so on and so forth it goes. But the catch with that was, well, there's only a certain number of keyless entry codes that can be used to open your car door. So from a thief's perspective, it's really easy to copy that, to map that, to get that in order to steal your car. And then the other thing is whenever you're talking about privacy and information, I agree with Colin. It's like you want to look at your phone, you want to look at, I mean, I live close to Camp David. I have sworn my phone was tapped from the day I moved into that house. Because it's like, we have a landline, and the static and what you hear on it, I've never heard in any other landline.
Right.
And where you're at, in whether it's your camera, your TV, all of it, there is so much related to big data and tracking what you're doing and being, because like they were saying with Disney World, if you go down there and you stay in a Disney resort, you get, with your door key card, it's populated with your credit card information. So you can go to any Disney resort, any place, and use that key card, and it automatically charges to your room, charges to your card, and it tracks everything, where you go, what you buy. You know, you bought this little Goofy doll here, you bought this food over here, and all of that data is assimilated into one thing and tracked for everybody that visits there.
But do you want your refrigerator telling you what to do? Do you want your refrigerator in your home?
No.
Well,
Following what
sometimes
you
it might
do?
be good if the refrigerator locked that you couldn't get into
Look,
it if you're on a
and
diet.
I think the answer here is all these technologies are beneficial. We need to figure out how to use them while protecting our own privacy, because I think we are going to keep
I beg
moving
to
forward.
differ.
In what way?
I don't think technology is automatically, yes, it is good, let's do it. I don't think everything that's put on the table is absolutely beneficial to humankind, to mankind. It's not always a good thing.
No, but we go through a process where we make that determination, and
who
ultimately
does?
builds on top. Society as a whole does.
No, they don't.
We somehow have
The
managed to
powers that
survive
be
the
and the
last 2.5 million years, going from chipping stone tools to developing more advanced stone tools to mastering fire, to mastering technology, to mastering metal forging, and somehow are still here. So
And that
eventually
with-
we do figure out.
And with that, up next, our panel weighs in on some big challenges that might be in store for Planned Parenthood. Stay tuned.